you. Today we have the amazing Charles Band live with us today. How you doing, Charles?
Doing great. We're all talking from our bedrooms or our living rooms or our offices at home. It's all good. Been here 4 months. Getting stir crazy.
I
Yeah,
feel you. I
same
feel you.
here.
I've been here for 4 months too, and I don't even know what's going on anymore. I don't know what day it is. All I know is I have to come on with Lloyd at some point. That's it.
So since we have two Charleses on today, we're going to be referring to Charles Band as CB. That's kind of
CB.
southern. That's a southern way of saying your name, CB.
I'm
CB.
into it, man. International dude, CB, Cecil B. DeMille. But yeah, when I write to people, I don't know if it looks pretentious or weird, but I never sign my name. Or when I write an email, I just do CB.
Nice. Well,
So-
CB works. I mean, that could be your trucker name too, so it's good.
Yeah.
We're ready to go.
So let's jump right into it. We know you have other things
Yeah.
going on today, so we don't want to keep you tied up. But I have always been interested in how you got into the business. I know you have a legacy, a family legacy of filmmaking.
Huge.
Well, it all starts with wanting to be in the company of hot chicks. That's my moment of bringing on this incredible,
All
amazing,
right.
All
attractive
right.
Robin. Can you get a little closer up and come back over here?
Wear a mask.
Put your head down.
Well, introduce her, Charlie. Or
This is
CB.
Robin Whitney, who's just indescribably amazing, talented, and always in an awesome mood. Can they see you? Oh, you took your mask off. Yeah, and she was wearing
Oh,
the amazing. We published or produced 4 masks that have gone really well a few months ago. So she was wearing the doll's mask. Anyone caught that from?
nice.
Oh,
I did
that's
see
awesome.
that.
The best thing for me is she was my tech support. So she set this up because it's like I'm not good at this. Just like fucking turn the thing on, go to the Zoom, push the button. And anyway, Robin, thank you. She's gonna go with the other.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you, Robin.
And everybody
Always-
has seen Robin before in a couple of your films, like the Tiger King movie that you just put out, and Corona
Barbara and
Zombies.
Kendra.
Yes,
Barbara and Kendra
don't
saved the
forget.
Tiger King.
And of course, she started in Ginger Dead Man, where she played opposite Gary Busey as a pissed off cookie running around the bakery, and Evil Bong movies and Skull Heads. And yeah, we've done a lot of work, and she's a great spirit. And luckily, she's really pretty too.
Yeah,
Well, that
she's
is
awesome.
good.
And she's been at the convention, Texas Frightmare Weekend, before too, so it was awesome to have her out.
She has, yeah.
Yeah.
So first, it's great you guys are doing this, and we're all the same. We're all we talked earlier off camera or whatever. We would all be like circus barkers back 100 years ago, and a king circus barker would be Lloyd. Lloyd would be there, man. He'd be ushering them in, pointing them to the right tents.
He would, with the top hat on and everything. His little whip.
Sure. Absolutely. And then he put people who need to be in the tent with the fat lady, the fat dude, the tattooed person, the little dwarf, and then of course the sexy room. All that stuff worked back then. It was awesome. It's like making a movie but live.
Well, it was
I think
funny
Lloyd has a
because
sexy room, don't you, Lloyd?
I have a sexy room, yeah.
thought
What
so.
I was going to say is before we came on, I was talking to CB, and he was telling me that he's a big Magic fan. He's got a poster behind him, and he collects you said you collect Magic posters, right?
I do.
Very nice.
I do.
And you described yourself kind of in that way, and I told him, I said, well, I don't mean this as an insult, but I have always seen you as a Carnival Barker type film producer, like along the lines of William Castle and so many others. And is there somewhere that you picked that up, or was it just natural for you?
It's a good question. I think everything that, who knows? Who knows really why you begin to like things? I know that a lot of what I enjoyed as a kid was because I was in a very sort of, I grew up in Rome, Italy, all right? So unlike the States, with even back then, TV shows and whatever, there was basically no TV back then. I grew up on my dad's movie sets, which I love. So I had a real love for the craft and filmmaking, and he had me apprentice doing everything under the sun. So I learned a lot. It's funny that a lot of what I learned back then is obsolete today. That's a different conversation. But It's
Yeah.
all, digital now. There's no film. There's no numbering negative, but a lot of the things are still here. It's the basics. And because I was in Rome, I was exposed, luckily, to amazing music of the '60s. So everything from Beatles, of course, to Pink Floyd that I loved, and I never missed a concert. So the music was first and foremost the thing I cared about the most. I would get myself lost in the music. But in terms of literature and movies, I was a crazy Marvel Comics fan, and that, kind of, made me think about movies and things that I'd like to do, and also related books, like even the pre-Marvel stuff, Monsters and Fin Fan Foom and Jack Kirby art and all that stuff. And somehow in all of that, I was really interested in, I don't know, the magic side of it, anything that had to do with magic or little inanimate objects come to life, which has been my part of what I've done forever.
Yeah.
All that was really exciting. I thought that was really, really cool and magical and benign. I never was into the blood and gore stuff. And, Italy had a lot of that all the way through the early 80s. I never made a slasher movie. It wasn't appealing. So I like these fantasy-based, the little creatures can go cut someone up. That's cool depending on the story. But, the movies, again, are pretty benign and they're fantasy-based. They're very soft R-rated shows. Hopefully they're laced always with some decent black humor. I like that. So I think basically the old petri dish of me being in Italy, away from, all the media and the stuff that even back then was happening if you were living in this country. And then, of course, I had a very steady diet of, a lot of weird movies, Fellini films and Pasolini and, so crazy Italian weird movies, occasionally the import that came over from the States. Occasionally you'd see one of the classic horror movies like the old Universal movies, which I love. And then sort of Marvel comics and random books. And I don't know, presto bingo, here I am.
There you are. Yeah. Like, what, 40 something years later, right?
At least 20 years later, at least 30 years.
What are you talking about? I think CB just turned 30. He's not that old, Lloyd.
No, it's all good. But no, you sort of, it's that forward motion. And I'm just lucky that I've always been, listen, I've had ups and downs. Back to the circus barker analogy. If we go to town, there are good towns and bad towns. I've been to bad towns. I had to run away for my life. Shit didn't always work making movies for 40 years because things change and you have, you learn. I never went to, I did this right out of high school. I never went to college, never went to a business school. And I think I'm pretty good at it now, but it took 40 years of making tons of stupid mistakes, especially financial mistakes, trusting other people, taking people at their word, running out of money many times. It's an up and down business. Now things are luckily better because of the fact that I held on to my library, and now you can stream the movies, and that's great. But 40 odd years of doing this, going from the 35 millimeter B side of a bill, where the only money you saw if you were with an honest distributor, which there were none, was share of ticket sales, to the VHS business and via VHS, Betamax, to crazy years in the 80s where that fueled everything. We had to do theatrical releases to kind of create more awareness for our movies. Then you kind of morph into DVDs, all that crazy stuff, and then suddenly you're shipping 1 billion units, if you do it well, to Blockbuster in Hollywood, and that's awesome. And then all of a sudden all that dies, the dismal death, like the rental business, which really fueled everything that all of us independents did for many years, vanished overnight. And then you have some real tough years until you figure out what to do and move that circus into the next town, and it's a streaming town, and everyone's suddenly okay with $6-7 a month, and all you can eat, all you can watch, and streaming now is saved our butts.
So what's the website to go and get the streaming while we're at it?
Thanks, because I actually never say this because I'm just talking. I figure I should probably promote the shit.
You should, because it's a great streaming.
Thank you. Yeah, we're really proud. It's fullmoonfeatures.com, and It's got all sorts of bells and whistles. Not just our movies. We've also licensed a ton of films that are, Euro trash, weird movies, Lucio Fulci, Jess Franco. So there's lots and lots and lots of, I hate to use the word, but that's what people say today, content. A lot of content on that site. And then we release 2 to 3 new movies literally every week. And then we have contests. For instance, one of the things we've done that's been super successful is since we've been big in merch and it's a big part of our business, kind of saved our butts during difficult years when no one could find our movies because all the video stores closed down. You know, we have action figures and puppets and comics and a great magazine called Delirium. We have all that stuff. But recently, what people are wanting, the collectors want, are sort of high-end collectible, cool things that they maybe saw as a kid. So people who have movies that are recognized over the years are finding clever ways to package these films. We've done our share of that. Like we released about over a year and a half ago, the 11 Puppet Masters, along with a kind of a companion piece, all Blu-ray in a beautifully crafted replica of the Toulon's trunk. This is not a plastic thing.
That's very awesome.
It was made painstakingly flow in China. We designed it here, and it's wood and metal. And, you know, we've slowly sold 1,000 of those things. And we ran out about a year ago, and we're now getting some in. But what I decided to do, back to streaming, is I took the contents. I took the 12 Blu-rays, 11 movies at that time, and then a sort of a compilation of behind-the-scenes stuff. And I put it into a standard box, not a fancy box. So it's the 12 Blu-ray collection. We started selling them for $120, which is a pretty fair price, all the whole Puppet Master series. Then I decided, hell, if you come on board fullmoonfeatures.com and you want to sign up for a year, just $59.95, we'll ship you that $120 Blu-ray Puppet Master box set for free. We started that 2 months ago. We've to date shipped 2,000 of them.
Wow.
Wow.
And it's great. It's a great deal, and it makes me happy because it kind of satisfies everything. It's not just a little gimmicky thing. You're not getting a poster. You're getting a freaking Blu-ray box set of 12 Puppet Masters for free. But most importantly, for me, it brings people, and it's costly. It's not like we're making a bunch of money with this idea, but it gets people on board. Now we've got a couple more thousand people who are on the streaming site. And, you know, that's where we premiere everything. You know, even though things we eventually will release maybe elsewhere, or movies that we recently licensed, and 35, a lot of really cool films, but we'll release everything first on Full Moon Features. So 2 weeks ago, barely 2 weeks ago, we released Blade, which is effectively the 12th Puppet Master film. Really proud of it. Turned out really well. Eventually it'll be out on other services. Eventually it'll be out on Blu-ray and DVD. But, you know, for those who are into it, the first place they can see Blade on planet Earth is fullmoonfeatures.com. So, you know, we're doing the best we can, slowly building the site up. But we also have a Full Moon channel on Amazon, which has been amazing. Now, we were there 4 years ago. We were amongst the first. It's called add-on subscription. So if you're a Prime member, I'm sure everyone knows this, but in case there's a few who don't know that, you can then go and say, oh, I want Showtime, or I want this, or I want Shudder, or I want Full Moon. You pay, you know, the $6.99 a month. Now, there's nothing wrong with that way to see our movies, but we're a little limited with what we can put up on Amazon. They have their own, you know, we can't go a little too crazy with Amazon as far as movies that maybe have a little too much sexual content, you know, or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
We have to, for instance, we didn't put up Corona Zombies, which I'm very proud of, since, you know, I shot day one of the lockdown. They actually wrote a letter and they said, look, it's based on the vibe, the country, what's going on. Better not put that one up on our channel. And we didn't. But of course, it's up on Full Moon Features. So that's our whole business now, other than merch, is fullmoonfeatures.com, which is available everywhere, the entire planet. And then we got the Amazon streaming sites. And we had great plans this year to come to these, well, mainly to your convention, do a bunch of fun stuff, which we'll have to wait till next year. And Lloyd, I do want to say, I probably already said this in a different way, but, you know, you're like the fucking Circus Barker, dude. You know, fuck Corona. So let's go in September. September doesn't work now. What, you're in April? It's just, you just keep, the show's got to go on.
Yeah, you gotta just keep going. You know, like you said, the show goes on. So, you know, eventually, and I say eventually because who knows when this is going to clear up, but eventually it's going to get better. So that's the way we have to look at it. I've got something cool that I wanted to show you. Do you recognize this?
You got to hold it up a hair.
There it is.
I actually.
That's Crash.
That's Crash. Oh, that's Sue Lyon. Oh my God. Now where did that come from?
This is a French VHS that I bought years ago.
Wow.
To play in my video player that plays tapes from all over the world.
Wow. Right.
It says Canal Video on it.
Okay, I remember. Yeah.
Lloyd.
I bought this because I wanted to see it so bad, and it was not available, but now you guys have it out, and is it on the streaming service now?
Yeah, everything is. Everything is. The only few movies that aren't on the service are the movies I made in the 80s under the Empire label. Those 20 odd, 30 movies, ironically, because I sold the company, I don't have those rights, even though one day maybe I'll be able to license them. It's controlled by MGM. But other than those 30 movies, we have all 300 odd movies up on the side of the movies I've made under the Full Moon label. And then we have a ton of other stuff. You just go there. There's like category after category of like craziness.
I've told you this before, but one of my all-time favorites. Do you remember which one I'm talking about? You probably don't. Laser Blast.
Oh, Laser. All right.
Laser Blast is awesome.
I've always loved that movie so much, and it used to play on TV here in Texas when I was a kid, and of course I had no idea who Charles Band was at that time when I saw this movie, but I was just like, I ran around and pretended to be the Laser Blast guy all the time. I mean, that's how, I didn't pretend to be a football player or anything. I was Laser Blast guy.
I was all those guys too. No football player in my little imagination. Yeah, the copy line was great. Billy was a kid who got pushed around until he found the power, and he had the big fucking
power
that these aliens just carelessly left in the desert.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie is actually hilarious in its own way.
Oh, it is, but it's so much fun, and as a kid, it was magical. And didn't you get a shot of a Star Wars billboard in that movie or something?
Yeah. Well, what happened is, so I guess I'll see 78. So I was 25. It was my sixth movie or something. So I was still young, making stupid mistakes. But I was excited about that film because I'm a stop motion animation freak, and I teamed up with. This is the first film that I made or directed that had stop motion animation in it. But I've been a fan since a kid. I mean, the Ray Harryhausen movies, all that was my most favorite stuff. Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, all that kind of stuff. Jason and the Argonauts. So anyway, I found Ray Harryhausen's protege, who was doing primarily. He did some work with small movies, but he was doing commercials. His claim to fame way back then was he animated the little Pillsbury Doughboy. Anyway, a guy named David.
Okay.
Met David.
Oh yeah.
And at that time in his studio, some of the great effects guys were all working for him, working under him, making the shots. And I convinced Dave to, at a price, because I was making low budget movies, to animate these aliens. I explained what it was. Aliens come to Earth, they leave the gun. Of course, the shots are hilarious and very cool in their own way. But I just reminded, my favorite little moment is when they look on their monitor that they realize they lost the gun. And they had little voices, and I did one voice and my dad did the other. Like ridiculous, nonsensical voices. They look on the monitor and they see the gun in the desert, and they see this kid, Billy, get the gun and start shooting. And they looked at the little alien guys going, her, like, fuck, we left the gun. Then you have a shot of the spaceship that literally turns around and goes back to Earth. It's like so ridiculous. But anyway, so the movie was almost finished, and it was time to kind of create the marketing elements. We cut a great trailer. We were still in post-production, and again, these are all long stories, but I was very close to someone who was one of the producers of the original Star Wars, and the guy, another close friend of mine, who did the first trailer for Star Wars. Anyway, they invited me to this post-production house where they were in post on Star Wars. They said, you got to check this thing out. It's a fucking amazing movie and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I went there on an upright moviola and watched some of the scenes from Star Wars. This is maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 months before it was released. And I thought, oh my God, this is going to be the biggest hit in the world. It was so amazing, even seeing it on a screen this big, literally. I thought, I've got to do a little riff on Star Wars. So I went back, got the makeup guy. We built that billboard somewhere in the middle of nowhere. We did everything against every sort of rule and regulation. If we built a billboard and blew it up, we ran away quick. We didn't take it away. I mean, we were terrible, like, movie bandits. I learned that lesson because eventually you get in trouble doing that. Anyway, so we shot the scene of Billy in character with the gun driving by and seeing this Star Wars billboard, and he blows the billboard up, and that's in the movie. And our timing was great because our film came out shortly after Star Wars, and people thought, God, that guy's kind of clever. He blew up Star Wars. It was anyway, whatever. It's all silly stuff, but a lot of fun back in those days.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. So we have to talk a little bit though about Corona Zombies and Barbie and Kendra Save the Tiger King. We have to talk a little bit about that because
You got it. I'm ready. Bring it on.
these. Where did the ideal for these come? So did you have this kind of ideal before the lockdown started, or did this kind of come from the lockdown?
You know, the stories are always very simple. It wasn't like, you know, some lightning bolt hit me. But, you know, usually I having invented so many ideas.
May sound like a fanboy, but
and
thank you,
images,
Mr.
I
Band,
literally
for the
sit down
years
and
of
do it. It's
entertainment.
and I enjoy it, but
Ginger
I get
Dead
creative.
Series
I put
is
on
one
some
of my
great music,
favorites of all time. So much
make sure I'm not
fun.
distracted, and I dream up weird stuff. This came differently because we were already, I was sort of ahead of this thing in that I have close friends in Italy. I knew what Italy was going through for a month before anybody here was even talking about it. So knowing how bad it was and knowing we were heading there, you know, I let people go home from my office a few weeks before there was a lockdown. I was telling my family and friends, hey, you guys got to be careful, stock up on stuff. They thought I was an idiot. I went and bought tons of weird talking shit because I kind of feel like I've been through this before somehow. And then, of course, it kind of hit this country. And I thought, you know, before we all go stir crazy, you got to whip out a quick movie because that's all I do. You know, when you just do one thing, you got to do it. It's really hard not to make. And we had some bigger films, literally budgeted, planned. We had people on location in Croatia. We were going to shoot in April, the fifth Subspecies movie. That was a big production for us. There were 3 movies planned: April, late April, May, and June, and of course we had to cancel those. So I thought, well, what the hell can we do that'd be fun, that'd be easy, that we can contain in our houses and shit. So I thought, well, and then I don't know where the name came from, but I remember writing it down at some odd hour, Corona Zombies. And right away, part of me said, oh, people are going to really be pissed off. You can't explode this thing. People are dying. It sounds like, you know, be careful. But the better part of me said, well, you know, let's make it funny. Let's make it a slice of time. Let's reflect what people are thinking and talking, especially people who are completely, in this case, ditzy, unknowledgeable, thinking it's bullshit. I mean, even today with the death and madness we're going through, people think it's, you know, they think it's fake. They think it's, not, you know, whatever. It came out of whatever
conspiracy or something.
All these conspiracy theories. You know,
Yeah.
and I literally talk to people who think it's an alien thing. This is how the aliens are going to fuck us up. Anyway, I thought, let's make this with some humor. But then I tried to figure out, how can we do this? You know, could I shoot a little bit of material? Yeah, but I can't do the usual 6, 7, 8 day shoot. People were all freaked out. And then coincidentally, around the same time, I had dinner with a good friend of mine, Billy Butler. Billy and I go back many, many, many years. And he pitched an idea. This all happened in the same night. He said, Charlie, you know, you have so much old fun footage. We should do kind of like a Mystery Science Theater 3000, but more like What's Up, Tiger Lily, and take some of your footage and invent a new theme and put funny dialogue, because you have stuff going back to the 70s, and some of the movies, you know, are really silly and fun. And I said, you know, I don't know if I need to do that. Yeah, I'm fine making fun of my own stuff. That's not the issue. But from a marketing point of view, you know, it's not easy to do that. You got to get great voice artists. You got to wipe the track clean. You got to put music. You got to basically rebuild your whole deal. And I'm not, but I thought it was a cool idea. So somehow, from hearing that, thinking of Corona Zombies, the next early mornings, I'm up early. I thought, well, wait a minute. Maybe the gimmick is there's a ditzy chick, and she's, you know, oblivious to things, but that she sees some of this stuff on TV. And, you know, you're allowed to use a lot of things. You can, if it's public domain, you can use it. And of course, even then I was thinking, oh my God, this president of ours is, you know, out to lunch saying it's going to go away. Don't worry. There's only 15 people. It's nothing. You know, in Italy, I had friends who had people close to them dying. And this is, you know, like, duh, it's not going to come across the ocean. Sure, it's going to come across the ocean. So I thought, well, maybe what we do is we have her watch news shows and be a little bit freaked out by the fact that this thing is real and people aren't partying anymore. And then we can cut to a faux channel, a faux low rent, in this case, you know, like a horror channel. And I could use one of my movies and we could do some funny, you know, What's Up, Tiger Lily stuff, kind of Billy's idea, but in the framework of a modern day current chick. So we can lace in things that we can't do if it's just a linear retelling of old footage. So I got to work on that. Billy thought it was a great idea. And I forget who it was who recommended, I think it was Chris Alexander. Someone recommended, because I have no zombie movies. That was a bummer, because I wanted to be a zombie, because the Corona Zombies. and I never made a zombie movie. I made one called Zombies versus Strippers, but that was not that old. It wasn't as goofy as I needed. And Chris recommended, he said, there's a lot of good old ones, so why don't you try to get Hell of the Living Dead, which if you've seen it is without redubbing a word, a pretty funny, outrageous movie. So that's a whole separate story, but I licensed it from a guy named Bill Lustig, Blue Underground. He has it. I already had it on the site. It was already one of the movies we licensed that you can find right now on Full Moon Features. And then I got Billy to work on the movie in a movie. And then I went to this writer who's done all the Evil Bong stuff, this great dude, and he wrote the wraparound stuff. This is all in a matter of one calendar week. So by the Monday it was an idea. By Friday I had the script. I licensed the footage. And the following Monday, I at the writer's house, Billy Butler's house, I brought in a few crew. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't Monday. It was that Friday, the 20th. And I'll tell you why the 20th of March is an interesting date. Anyway, we set it up. We had a tiny crew. We wore masks. We shot at Billy's house. And I thought Cody Cameron is phenomenal, fun, ditzy. She plays a great Barbie because that's the chick. And she's on the phone because we didn't even have the other character in on the first one. So she's on the phone with Kendra. And that was the voice of Robin Sidney on the ditzy phone calls about her discovering the corona, this whole, corona, the COVID-19. And we were set to shoot Friday the 20th. And we had a script, the thing, came up with a great look for the zombie, got a great makeup guy because I wanted the corona zombie to look fucked up but still wear a mask, a drippy, bloody, because he's a corona zombie, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, the day before we were ready to shoot, they announced that LA was on lockdown. Starting that Friday, March 20th, LA was on lockdown. But needless to say, that doesn't slow crazy people down. So I called everyone, make sure they were ready to show up. Again, it was the tiniest crew, one actor, makeup effects, zombie guy, DP, location. And we shot it that one day. And 3 weeks later, it was on our streaming site. And we had a lot of people watch it.
That's amazing.
I'm going to take a breath. I mean, that's the story of Corona Zombie.
Well, you know what? I thought it was great. And I know there were a lot of people that were apprehensive at first, and they're like, oh boy, look at that.
Look at that.
Corona Zombies TP.
Yes. I designed this and I thought, oh my God, I had a company ready to go. This is back a few months. This is like, end of March, beginning of April. And I thought, nah, that's probably too much. Even for me, I thought maybe not. Because, we had a lot of people enjoy the movie. And, it gets funnier as time goes on when there's distance from how crazy it was back then. But,
well, it was done tastefully, Charles, or CB, Charlie Band, because CB, because it could have been exploited and it could have been really terrible, but you kind of only exploited the craziness around it, the situation. There wasn't anything about exploiting the victims or anything like that. It was just crazy fun, and it came at the right time where we all needed to laugh about something.
Right. Well, thank you. That was, you can't help. There's always some person with no sense of humor that gets on a little soapbox and says the worst thing ever to do this. Yeah. But the idea was not to make, a movie about real corona zombies killing people. That would have been ridiculous. So, but I so loved the setup and the idea that sort of segued right after that. 30 days later, we invented, made, shot, and released Barbie and Kendra Save the Tiger King. And that, again, Tiger King, very topical. The series had just barely started playing on Netflix. And I tracked down, of course, I would have loved to have Joe Exotic on our Zoom call with the girls, but he's unfortunately in the Slammer, so he's not available. But we got the next most popular guy, who was the zookeeper, John Rinke. So that was a great deal. But again, the meat of the movie, now we have both girls, of course, Barbie and Kendra, Cody and Robin. And I think they're very, very funny. And again, lots of news footage, all those commercials are, I think, very, very clever and dropping in a little bit of Trump stuff. So it is super contemporary, but I was incredibly happy with the material in the second movie that they're watching that's freaking the girls out, because they find a low rent nature channel called Big Pussy Network. Big pussy all the time. And it's literally the story of little Joe Exotic, and I don't know if you saw the show.
Oh yeah.
But it's
Oh yeah.
talk about getting lucky. Now again, this ironically, the whole idea was to use footage from my stuff. Didn't do it this time. The third one that we literally shoot Monday, so in 48 hours we'll be on set shooting Barbie and Kendra Storm Area 51 with all the crazy, you know, conspiracy theory footage and people wearing tin hats. I cannot wait. Again, it's a one-day shoot, literally a one-day shoot, and we have some great footage. But going back to Tiger King, and again, I think this was also Chris Alexander, who's sort of a walking encyclopedia of old weird movies.
He is.
There's a film
Yeah, he
called,
is.
he said there's a film called Terror in the Jungle. It's an old Crown International movie. And he said it'd be perfect for the Big Pussy Network because it's about this 5-year-old kid who kind of gets lost in the jungle and he's taken in by a tribe and then they try to rescue him. So it was not easy finding the owner, the current owner of Crown. I used to know Mark Tenser, who he was the main guy at Crown. I met his wife years ago. Anyway, she's the heir. I finally found this awesome attorney that represents them, and I licensed the rights to use Terror in the Jungle for our show. And the lucky break came in through a connection and the fact that I already used him in a movie once. Leslie Jordan, who's well known to, and he's got 5 million people on Instagram. He plays the voice of this 5-year-old. And so there's something about the second one that it's just, I don't watch my movies more than once when they're done. It's like, please. But I've already had 3 little groups of family and friends come over to watch this thing, and they want to watch it again because it's really freaking funny.
It's hilarious.
It really is. They're great movies. Like you said, they're really relevant to the time, but they're just fun movies. They're what everybody needs right now. So if you guys haven't checked them out yet, really go on and watch them because they're so much fun.
The price of admission. You can do a double feature and soon a triple feature. Corona Zombies and then Barbie and Kendra Save the Tiger King. But the one we shoot on Monday has such great potential because, you know, the conspiracy theories just never end, and they're more. I mean, they existed even when I was younger. They weren't so accessible. There wasn't the internet. You heard about it. I mean, you read about it. But now it's like, do people really believe this stuff? And they do. They really fucking do.
The one that gets me is the flat earthers.
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude, we have proof that we're round. I mean, I don't get it, but they stick by it, man, and they have, you know,
They stick by it.
yeah, and they have all the reasons why that it's a real thing. But there's some we're running out of time, Charlie. But I wanted to tell you
Go a little longer. This is too much fun, and I'm just getting used to your beard, dude. So you know,
I know you've never seen me with this.
I have. You're like ZZ Top all of a sudden.
He is.
Hey, I'm gonna let it grow out as long as it will. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not, man? Aaron Wojcicki is watching with us right now. We can see all of our viewers chatting online while they're watching, and he did a super chat and wanted to make sure that we told you this. He said, may sound like a fanboy, but thank you, Mr. Band, for the years of entertainment. Gingerbread series is one of my all-time favorites. So much fun. So I wanted to make sure you got that message from Aaron.
Well, Aaron, thank you. Ginger Dead Man rules. We got to bring him back. And I love the new guy, Ginger Weed Man. I mean, come on. It doesn't get better than that.
Yeah.
I love Ginger Dead Man. Gary Busey is just fantastic, Ginger Dead Man. So those are fun movies.
He scared the crowd. You know, when I met Robin on set making Ginger Dead Man, this was, I want to say, frickin' 16 years ago. And he really terrified her. You know, I'm talking about Gary now. Because, and I tell this story when I do my my weird routine and I go to convention. But he's such a trip to work with. I don't know what he's doing now, but if you can, you know, put him in the right project, he's genuinely out there, you know, in every respect, and he can be pretty scary. But she was scared to death, and she obviously worked one day with him because her family gets killed in this diner, and then the freaking ashes and then the police come, and anyway, he comes back, the Gary Busey character, as this pissed off Ginger Dead Man, chases her around, and it's freaking hilarious. So we had his voice yelling little fucking things at her just because he wasn't there. He worked one day and he split. But I had his voice, come here, you cocksucker. These little dolls running. It's hard to make movies like that. That's so fucking weird.
Kind of along that lines, you're getting a lot of viewers asking about any new replicas that are going to be on your website, asking for a big Turok doll. Somebody said they'd like a Mephisto and a
Mephisto.
Yeah, and a homunculus. Am I pronouncing that right?
It doesn't matter. Sounds good when you say it. Sounds good. Humunculus. But anyway,
Humunculus.
That's okay. The answer is we had the most aggressive plan this year for all sorts of replicas and little action figures, and everything got delayed, of course, because of the COVID deal. And just now they're beginning to come in. So Mephisto's on his way, probably a few months away. Haven't done the homunculus yet, but we're also doing something really cool that no one else is doing. About a year and a half ago, I thought, I loved the big box VHSs back in the old days. I mean, it was a brief moment in time. You had to be around in the early 80s, otherwise you missed it. And what I did about a year and a half ago is I thought, well, let's do a replica big VHS box for Puppet Master and age it, make it look like it's been around for 40 years. And inside we put a Blu-ray of Puppet Master and a DVD, Blu-ray DVD combo, and then a little action figure of Blade. And I think we did 1,000, or I forget, let's say 1,000 of these things, or 2,000, and we never did them again. I mean, the idea is, we sort of break the mold, and I think the first 500 were numbered. I don't remember exactly, but we did well with that, and people seemed to like it. So we did it again for Laser Blast, talking about Laser Blast. So you were able to buy the big VHS. I don't know if we have any left in stock. There may be a few, I don't remember. But same thing, Laser Blast, Blu-ray, VHS box, and we got the little Laser Blast guy. So we have 3 of those coming out now, all in sequence. You can also buy the action figures, the little action figures separately once they get here. So one is, it'll be for Puppet Master 2, which is Dave Allen's directorial, debut, and also it's a great stop motion animation. And in that we have, of course, the Blu-ray, but we also have a little Torch, which is super cool, a little Torch action figure. And then I'm doing one for Tourist Trap, which I'm super excited about.
That's what I wanted to get to, is Tourist Trap.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get to as well.
Check it out. VHS, old VHS box, Blu-ray DVD, and it's the uncut. We finally found the right negative because there's a whole thing about 5 minutes missing from the one we did. But in there, you're going to get a little pissed off Chuck Connors doll, which to me is like the coolest thing ever. And so we're doing more of those with little action figure guys. Obviously the replicas, and we also licensed a whole slew of really great old Jess Franco, Fulci movies that have never been out, in HD. These are we went back. This was 2 companies in Italy that have had these in their vaults forever. I mean, you used to be able to buy these movies back in the day on VHS. SD transfer looked pretty crappy. So. Yeah, we're slowly releasing these because 35 millimeter, absolutely gorgeous. Actually, I have a wrap here. This is not ready yet, but this is Orgy of the Living Dead.
Orgy of the Living Dead. Great.
Awesome.
35 millimeter, uncut negative. We have a whole slew of these shows. So we're going to be releasing a couple every month starting in September. So as far as merch and physical is concerned, a lot of Blu-rays, DVDs, the little action figure guys, replicas. And then we are finally, hopefully by September, getting another very limited supply of that box I was telling you about, the trunk that was included in this. This is kind of the 2.0 version, so it will also include Blade, which the first one didn't because Blade didn't exist, which is the 12th Puppet Master. And it's also going to have all 3 action figures in there, Jester, Blade, and Torch. So it's, we'll continue on with all this madness. And hey, listen, it's, come right up. It's back to the circus.
Yeah, step right up. I think it's great, that you do all this and you get it, that this is what fans want. We do want this stuff. We want the action figures. We want special editions. We want uncut stuff, we
want 35 millimeter.
But let me add something else. Let me add something else that we all want too. We cannot forget it. Hot chicks.
Chicks.
Don't forget hot chicks with occasional boobs and shit. That's part of it. It's part of it. What are those first images? You watch a horror movie in the old days and suddenly there was a super hot chick and you saw her for a moment and she was naked. You go, oh my God, this is the best movie I've ever seen.
Exactly.
Takes
And
us back.
they don't make movies like that anymore, Charles.
Oh, we do.
They don't.
We do. Check out Blade. Blade is kind of a really nice mix. Obviously, it's I think it's a well done, standalone Blade movie with lots of effects. But I don't want to say anything more. But you need the hot chicks, man. Can't forget that.
Yeah,
I just
I'm with
watched
you.
it recently, and I'll say Blade Iron Cross is actually a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. So I definitely recommend everybody. I just watched it last week, so I recommend everybody checking it out.
Wow,
It's
you
great.
guys are like students of all this weirdness. That's amazing. That's
Absolutely. Yeah, and Tourist Trap, I got really excited when I heard that was coming out, and you were, adding back in the deleted footage. Is
Right.
Yeah.
is there anything? I don't even know what the deleted footage is. Is it?
So here, this is a good story, which I've never told. I'll make it quick. So people have to understand, if you're a major studio, you have tons of money. You maintain things over decades. You have a vault. You have where your old documents are, because you're Paramount or you're Warner's. You have if you're a little independent, keeping things sometimes for 40 or 45 years is really difficult. There are ups and downs. There are money issues. You have a good few years. You have a bad few years. We're running for your life. You're at that village, right? Circus Barker, and the fans are pissed because who the fuck knows what happened? The fat lady did something wrong, or the hot chick ran away, and so you ebb and flow. You have a big office, you have a small office, you have storage facilities, then you don't have them. So I've been lucky enough, to the best of my ability, to keep most of my important material. Most important are your film negatives over the years. But labs close, which also happens. And of course, with digital now and everything else, all the old great labs that did all the 35 work are either closed, or they try to get in touch with the producers and say, listen, you got some negatives here, come and get them. If not, we're going to throw them away. We can't keep this stuff anymore. Anyway, so ups and downs and weird transitions. So I've been lucky that I've managed to keep over many years most of my negatives, and a lot of them were kept in storage facilities that I hadn't gone to in 10 years, but you got to hang on to those negatives. So there are a few that are lost, and that's a super bummer. And some that, hopefully we'll find. It's a lot of digging. But when it came to Tourist Trap, which we released on Blu-ray some years ago, we found what was called a internegative. It's when you make prints of a movie, you have your negative, right? But you don't make prints off the original negative. You make an internegative, and then you make 20, 30, 50 prints if you're going to release the movie theatrically. So the original negative, who knows where it is, but we found an internegative, which is almost as good. And we made what I thought was a pretty good Blu-ray release. Back then I was talking to David Schmoller. I haven't for a while, but David was happy to do the audio commentary. He did the audio commentary, and we promoted, and we were all excited to finally release Tourist Trap on Blu-ray. And shortly thereafter, we got fans, who are right on the money. They go, God damn it, there's 5 minutes missing. This is shorter than the SD version. What the fuck? How could you this and that? And then Schmoller, who I won't say anything bad about, he started like on the side of these people saying, yeah, it's 5 minutes short. Like what the fuck? And why would you, maybe you and your dad cut it out in the old days. Of course, none of this I have no memory of any of this, why we would cut it out.
Sure.
But truthfully, it was missing 5 minutes. So, bummer. So I had someone go through it meticulously and see what was missing. There was no scenes cut out. They cut out, whoever did it cut out maybe 10 seconds at the end of a scene. They little by little snipped out 5 minutes. And then I eventually remembered that we did this, or maybe my dad did it with an editor back in the day, because we had a TV sale, and the TV needed, for whatever reason, 5 minutes less, because you had to deliver a very specific running time. Mm-hmm. And this is something that most people couldn't care about. This story is like, for the few people who really care to know what really happens behind the scenes. So the report was, yes, it's 5 minutes short. We have no idea where the other negative is. But they aren't significant edits. It's not like, oh my God, I'm missing the scene when the chair, the kid, the thing, Right. So I thought, well, that's life, and Schmoller and I didn't talk since then. But of course, the irony is he did the audio commentary on the short version and was very happy. He never said, hey, Charlie, this is fucked up, this version. It's missing the famous scene. No, because it was almost imperceptible what was cut out. It was like little snips of thing, just to shave the thing down to 5 minutes. Anyway, long story short, we found the right elements. So this release in the box with fucking little Chuck Connors will be the full fucking running length with those mysterious 5 minutes added back in.
Were you?
Is that on sale yet? Is that one on sale yet on Full Moon, or is it coming up?
sorry?
Is the box, the VHS box of Tourist Trap, is that on sale yet for everybody?
No.
Or
It will be. All this, again, we were going to start all this up. I had some great things I was going to bring to your show in May. I had a whole plan. And anyway, all that now is delayed. So all the things I'm talking about start up literally in August. So every month there'll be new stuff and these VHSs and movies and Blu-rays and DVDs and action figures. And, the circus comes back to town. Step right up.
Step right up. I love it, man.
Ringmaster.
But
Ringmaster's here.
People really do care about the minutia that you're talking about. The fans, we all care, and I love hearing about that stuff. And it, like you said, it was basically, I guess, it was just the TV version. And
yeah, it was. It's. I mean, I challenge anybody who's got some age and some history to try to remember reasons why things happen, especially if you're in the creative world, 40 years ago. It's like, try to figure that shit out. I mean, I'm very forward thinking. First, I think I'm still in my 40s, so I have no concept that I'm older. I mean, I look at these movies I made in the 70s. I thought, fuck, how did that happen? Because, I just jumped in and made movies. But, a lot of this has to do with memory, too. And as much as we have a lot flying around, I care about these. These are all my movies. I care deeply. Yeah. But until someone said, hey, it's 5 minutes short, I was just happy we found that internegative and we were able to put it out on Blu-ray. So, yeah, anyway, every one of these things is a story, of course. But a lot of it just involves moving forward in sort of forward motion where you don't look back too much. Because sometimes looking back is like, oh, no. Like, I don't want to look back at this Corona thing. I can't wait for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was probably Lloyd that complained. I'm pretty sure it was Lloyd.
Lloyd.
Yeah, I was sending emails under a pseudonym. Damn you, Charlie.
Charlie, I need 5 minutes back.
I need that 5 minutes. Yeah, I see, there are some people that take that stuff too far, but, most fans are, they're just happy to get, what they can get. And I consider myself one of those.
You're sort of like my shrink now. I just saying things I should never say. So here's because when I was paying attention more to, look, I've been on the road more than anybody who makes movies. I've done over 100 cities. I've probably seen, God knows how many tens of thousands of fans, one-on-one. What I do, the road show. I did that road show for many years during the demise of rental video, when no one knew how to find movies anymore because their local video store became a laundromat. So I was on the road, and I went, and Dallas was always a great town. Dallas was awesome. I did one event in Dallas where I brought my son at the time, who had a #1 hit, William Shatner. We tried to make these shows as cool as possible. So I've talked to tons and tons of fans, which I love. I'm a fan too. I do this because I love doing it. Otherwise, why am I doing this? I could go out and, I don't want to say bad things, but I could do other stuff. But I love doing this because I'm still a fan. It really makes me happy to be making movies and to be repurposing things and keeping ahead of things. But the truth is, my revelation is that some years ago, I decided I'm not going to be on any social media. And the reason why is I need to stay in my sort of relatively blind, happy bubble and make my movies, because more and more, and I do have people forward me stuff. And yes, Charles Band is on Facebook, but I'm not there. It's not me. It's someone who is in my operation who will, and sometimes he'll say, hey, this is kind of a complicated question, or how would you answer this? So if it's something that I need to be involved with, I am. But I don't want to turn on a machine and see all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a fan who wants to come and blow my house up because Tourist Trap is 5 fucking minutes short. I don't need that in my brain. So I literally, I'm not on any. I do tweet. I will say that. If you're on the Charles Band, at Real Charles, whatever I'm called, I do tweet, but I've kind of slowed down on that. But I do that. Sometimes I'm on set. To me, it's more like, hey, look at this cool thing. Look at the monster. Look at here. I do a little tweet. I've never been on Facebook, me personally. I just don't want to watch all that stuff, because more than ever, you have people, most people are awesome and they say cool things and they appreciate the fact we're making movies for no money. You got to understand that, someone recently did a really nice interview about Robot Jocks, which was, the first big battling robot movie. And I made it years ago with Forrest Stewart Gordon, who recently passed, who I love dearly. Anyway, and since then you have whatever the hell, the Transformer movies and Pacific Rim and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm reading some of the stuff coming in, and I'm talking to this guy, and he's on the pulse of all this, and I didn't even realize there was some controversy. Like, I was the first, and I was real time and stop motion, and whereas other guys were doing whatever, CGI, which I'm not a fan of. And anyway, you get embroiled in all this stuff. It's like, I don't even think about that. Robot Jocks is a great experience, made many years ago. And yeah, I like the fact that we were the first. Like, no matter what happens on this planet, I can say I made the first fucking Corona zombie movie.
Yeah.
Eve of the pandemic. On the eve of the pandemic. But I did see I was forwarded some people basically saying I should burn in hell from making
Yeah. Well, it's best for your own sanity that you stay off of that social media. Believe me,
Yeah.
I know. I mean, it's madness out there sometimes. So
Yeah.
It is madness.
you don't need that stuff.
Yeah, I that's why I do it, because otherwise, listen, I'm human, and things sometimes pierce the thick skin I've developed by being a circus barber for 45 years. And you go, wow, that guy's really pissed off. I'm not sure what I did, And,
Yeah.
But people don't understand. My whole analogy of Robot Jocks, I forgot the trend of thought, is, Pacific Rim, $180 million. These other movies that I mentioned, the Transformers, they're all close to $200 million movies. And Robot Jocks was the most expensive movie I've ever made. It was $3 million, which for me and for Full Moon, or back then Empire, was a lot of money. But, no one quite understands that it takes a lot of, kind of ingenuity and, and the good boxcar riffle shuffle, if you know magic, to create an illusion and make a movie that looks kind of credible and cool for no money. And you shoot it in 7 days or 8 days, So anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent here, God damn it.
No, it's totally fine, man.
It's great. It's great to hear.
It's been a great interview. Yeah, we appreciate your honesty.
Yeah. Honesty is the way to go, man. That's it. Otherwise you're just another bullshit artist.
Yeah.
That's our favorite thing, is hearing these sort of behind the scenes stuff and everything that goes into this. That's me and Lloyd love this stuff, so we love hearing this. Keep it coming.
Yeah.
I will.
I feel like we need a monthly Charles Band session where he can come tell us everything that's going on.
You could just make it like Confessions of the Puppet Master.
I'm totally down. Well, we've had you on almost an hour now, Charlie.
God damn it. Okay. All right.
I know. So I want to say thank you very much for joining us.
Charles.
And always thank you for supporting us over the years, supporting Texas Frightmare Weekend. And thank you for being who you are to the fans, because you have a legion of fans out there, and they love you.
Oh,
And we love you too. Is there anything that we need to say before we go? Website addresses, we covered fullmoonfeatures.com.
I mean, Full Moon Features, and if you want to get some weird physical merch, our store for now almost 20 years is fullmoondirect.com. But otherwise, just listen. Yeah, I should say this: support anyone who's out there who makes small movies, who has a website and has a streaming site, because that's the only way any of us can stay alive. Unless you got like some ghost blockbuster on your corner, there's no more rental video. We can't get on Netflix. We probably wouldn't want to, so if you think of it, how do people like me who make movies and love making movies get those films out there? Where luckily we have a streaming site. We're able to do that. And that's supporting independent filmmaking. There's no other way. There's literally no other way. And it's a weird business for sure. It's not like the old days where you would ship 50,000 units to Blockbuster and you get an invoice and you get some money. This is a different thing. This is like publishing a magazine. And the better your magazine is, the cooler articles, meaning the cooler movies, people will subscribe and more people will subscribe. So, that's not just for me, that's for anybody out there doing this. There aren't many of us, but those who do it, this is the only way you're going to see independent fare. Because if it stops and if it doesn't work even barely financially, which it is now, it's doing pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. No one will see independent movies again. They just will not exist, because you can't crack through the handful of huge conglomerate, big sites that have tons and tons of money that are making, and they're making good series too. I mean, I love some of the shows. It's not like they're all making bad stuff, but independence blew up because of the video business. Let's face it, that's what we all watched and grew up watching. And that's long gone. I mean, we're collectors and film lovers, and we go and see movies we like 20, 30. In case of Laser Blast, frickin', I don't know how long ago, 40 plus years ago.
Yeah.
new stuff is out there, but you have to kind of support these streaming sites.
Very true.
Exactly. Very true.
God
Very
damn it.
true.
All right, guys, listen, I don't know why I keep saying God damn it. Maybe because we're talking to Texas people or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's us.
There's something I'm finally used to your beard, Lloyd. It's an awesome beard.
Thank you.
No, it
Thank
really,
you.
really is. It's kind of like, it's almost like it's got its own, like it's a creature almost at the end there.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
it does. It talks to me sometimes at night, and sometimes early in the morning. So that's okay.
It calls me on the phone and talks to me sometimes. It's weird, but I just talk to it. So
Can you make a full moon movie about my beard?
No, because we draw the line.
We draw the line there, huh?
You can't do
Lloyd's
like
beard.
No. Sorry, we got enough weird movies, but no, it's good talking to you guys. And Lloyd, I have to also say you do an amazing job always, and I'll be there. I told Lloyd on an email that even if by some chance I'm not here anymore, which I don't plan, I plan to be here forever. I'm still going to make sure my head is alive and talking and acting. It's going to be in a big fucking jar. It's going to be sitting on my table. Just give me an amplifier so I can talk to people. Like it's a Circus Barker act. Come right up.
Yep.
Step right up.
He
Don't worry,
did.
we'll
He really did tell me that in an email, everybody, and I totally believe it. I think it'll happen. But you look very young for your age. You really do.
Full
So
of
I have a
vigor.
feeling you're going
He's
to be
good.
with us a lot longer.
Oh, I
Yep.
know. I'm just saying, I will become eventually the head of the family. So just watch.
Okay.
We'll make sure they change it. We'll make sure they change your battery so you can keep talking. Don't worry.
Thank you. All right, guys. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you so
joining
much.
us today, and we'll talk to you later. Bye
Got
bye.
it.
Bye. So good talking to him.
Isn't he the greatest?
He is, and guys, yeah, like he's saying, guys, check out fullmoonfeatures.com, and like he was mentioning, year subscription's $59.99, but you get that 12-disc Puppet Master set, which is like $120 value. So it's an awesome thing. I'd recommend doing it before they stop running that. So
Yeah, it's a great deal, and if you can't, if that's something that I mean, it may be out of somebody's price range, but if it is, the monthly is what, like $4.99 or something.
I think it's $6.99 a month.
$6.99, and $6.99, and you don't get just full moon films. Like he was saying, he has a partnership with Blue Underground, so you'll see a lot of the Blue Underground stuff on there, and just tons of old Italian stuff, and it's really a great streaming service. And I recommend, instead of adding it to your Amazon, just go to the site directly, fullmoonfeatures.com, and that way you get their exclusive stuff that Amazon won't take.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on there, guys. I know they've got like Hell of the Living Dead's on there, which of course Corona Zombie's based on, but you can watch Tourist Trap on there. They've even got the Orgy of the Living Dead's on there, which is from the 35mm negative. So it's worth getting on there and watching it. So do it.
Yes. Well, I want to thank everybody that joined us today. We've got quite a crowd. Looks like we had several people join us that normally
Thanks, everybody.
don't. And maybe Charles Band brought those to the show today, and we want to thank you for coming in. We do this show every Saturday at 2 p.m. And
Central Time.
Yeah, and we bring in a lot of great horror guests and interview them. You can go back and watch a lot of our stuff on YouTube or Twitch, and see what all we do. But thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks guys for joining us. Thanks to all of our usual people. We've got a nice little crowd who joins us every week. And if you're new to it, like Lloyd says, we're on every week, but we've got a lot of past fun interviews. We've had a lot of good people on, so I recommend checking them out. We love talking to everybody, and we love seeing our crowd come in. So thank you guys.
Yeah, and Todd Lewis said, and the usual regulars.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
absolutely. We've got the regulars. We've got so many people that join us every Saturday and every time we go live, and we appreciate you guys.
We love you guys.
Yep. I want to thank AWSV Log for following us.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, Super Steph resubscribed at a tier 1 for 3 months. Thank you.
Perfect.
Again, we had Aaron Wojcicki do the super chat question for
thank you, Aaron.
Charles Band earlier, and we appreciate that. Amy Nomi followed us today.
Yeah, thank you, Amy.
Yeah, Marisu27 resubscribed for 3 months at a tier
Oh,
1.
thank you
Yeah.
so much.
What else do we have here? It just keeps going, man.
Man, we appreciate you guys. So, yeah, I mean, thank you guys so much. We also have our Patreon. We do exclusive show on Patreon. We did our first one last night on John Carpenter. So that's Patreon, and then under Frightmare HQ. So you can join us, and there's 3 different levels, right, Lloyd?
There are 3 different levels. There's a $3 just to support. $7 you get the exclusive live stream, and $9 you get the exclusive live stream and some monthly giveaways. So
in our Discord channel, we get a Discord channel too. Where me and Lloyd will jibber jabber about randomness.
Yeah, tier 3 on Patreon gets you the free Discord community, and a lot of people get in there and chat, and we jump in there and chat with people as well. T West just super chatted us $9.99 and said thank you with a little dancing critter. I don't know what that
I love the dancing
is.
critter.
Yeah,
man, that's some sort of a critter. That's a critter. It was just called a critter, a Babadook critter. I don't know, but thank you, T. Appreciate you so much.
Yep. So tonight we have a Prime watch party on Twitch, and we're watching Terror Train.
Terror Train.
Our special guest. Yeah, go ahead.
Mitch and Dan. Mitch and Dan, who joins us. I think they're only on Twitch, Mitch and Dan, but they're. I think it's 2 of them. I think that's why it's called Mitch and Dan, but maybe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is, unless they have a double personality or something, which is likely, and
that'd be cool.
And cool, yeah, we're fine with that. If you have a
I'll talk to both of them,
or more than 2 personalities, it doesn't matter to us.
Yeah. So Terror Train's going to be fun. We like doing our weekly Twitch movies. With commentary by me and Lloyd, which sometimes is nonsensical depending on what we drink during it. So
yeah, and it's a lot of fun because it's Charles.
Which I've already started. So
yeah, what are you drinking now?
Guinness.
Ah, okay, gotcha. But yeah, we have a lot of fun on the Twitch Prime stream. All you have to do is you have to have a Prime subscription and a Twitch subscription, and then we pick one movie, and or we let one of our guest attendees pick the film, and then we all watch it together, and our guest attendee comes on live with us, and we have a blast, so it's a good time.
Yeah, it's fun. So thank you guys so much. And of course, Wednesdays we do a show. We do a Spotlight Year in Horror. We just finished the 80s, so if you want to see a bunch of years of 1980s horror, we got the whole amount on YouTube, a bunch of shows. But we're starting with the year 1970 next Wednesday, so that'll be fun.
Yep.
Starting a new decade. So, it's going to be good. It's going to be lots of good. Lots and lots of good stuff.
Lots of good.
So if you're joining the Twitch movie tonight, I'm going to give away a copy of Zombie for Sale, courtesy of Arrow Video, tonight on Twitch streaming, which I just watched. I've got a good copy here from them. It's a fun movie, so I'm going to be giving this away tonight if you're watching the Twitch movie. So look forward to that.
Yep.
I got to thank Arrow Video. Arrow Video is a great supporter of what we do. So, and movies courtesy to them. So thank you guys, Arrow Video, and check them out.
Definitely go to arrowvideo.com, and that's their US website, and you can check it all out, and we talk about them a lot on here too. So all right, Charles, I think we should wrap this one up. I think we had a great show, another fun time.
Lots of fun.
Yep. I want to say thank you to Charles Band for joining us. Thank you for all the viewership today. Thank you all for joining us, and thanks for all the interaction you guys have provided. We had a blast. You've been watching,
guys.
We've been watching Frightmare HQ. My name is Lloyd Cryer, and I am with.
It is Charles Doze, aka Carlos Blueberry.
Carlos Blueberry. All right, guys, y'all have a good day, and we outie.
All right, guys, bye.